So our meditation and our mindfulness practice increases our ability to respond to life, to respond to the things that come up rather than reacting to them. And we gradually become more able to make different choices when approaching stress and conflict. And Thich Nhat Hanh taught that strong emotions are like a storm. You can feel when they are coming, and you can prepare yourself to receive them. And first, we must pause to be ready, to stop what we are doing and take a few deep breaths. And then we can begin to name what emotions are coming up for us. And the inner witness is strengthened as we name what is arising. And with the witness on board, then we can discern if we are truly in danger or if old trauma is being stimulated. And I recently had an experience of being taken over by my anger. I'm currently taking a class called the Mother House Starter Series, through which systems of domination are made conscious, enabling us to choose an alternative paradigm to live by. It's a pretty powerful course, and they refer often to the doctrine of discovery, which is a document that has been used for hundreds of years to dehumanize people for the projects of genocide, enslavement, and colonization. And this doctrine is still entrenched in today's legal, cultural, economic, judicial, and political systems around the world. And the doctrine of discovery defines who has the right to perpetrate and who deserves victimization. So overcoming systems of domination requires practices which apply conscious awareness to cut through what has become a pervasive level of consciousness throughout our societies, and allows us to refuse our consent through ignorant participation. And in this time of climate crisis and so many other crises, so many of us are called to claim cultural traditions which nourish and tend life, working in partnership with Earth and with her natural law. And so while I was being taken through the European history that opened the way to colonialism, I had a very strong reactive response to the burning times. It became very visceral for me this time. I've been through it, of course, several times, but anyway, I was taken out of the present moment, and I joined this long period of fierce victimization of women. And life began to feel threatening and filled with loss and horror. And I was activated through this lens of victimization and was outraged that men had spent 300 years humiliating, condemning, and burning the women of their lives. And identifying with this archetypal experience of victim-perpetrator, I was just overtaken with anger for days. And recalling the myriad ways that women's power and voices have been compromised by this history just fueled my rage. And it felt like I really needed that anger. It felt like I needed it to re-empower myself and break out of the patterns of internalized oppression and all the ways which I have used the word against myself. And I was taking time to really explore my anger and what was coming up for me. And whenever I do these explorations of reactivity, I I always end with focusing on my highest intention. And I ask to receive the resources I need to embody this intention. And after working with my anger, I stumbled upon a book that I had on my bookshelf, written by Leslie Temple Thurston, who was a spiritual teacher that I worked with for many years. And it's a little book titled Returning to Oneness, The 7 Keys of Ascension. And so re-entering these teachings after several years, many years of not looking at them, it allowed me to realize that I had actually slipped into victim consciousness rather than witnessing it. And I was very much centered in my third chakra with the anger and poised to use all the power that I could summon to fight the dark forces that had possessed, the men in Europe and many people since then. And so one of the things that I found is that Leslie provides a key or a mantra for opening each of the chakras so that our life energy can flow all the way up from the root chakra through the crown and above. And she, in her spiritual practice, had perceived that we tend to have locks below the chakras that need to be opened to allow the energy to come all the way up. And that our practice is actually a lot about that. And the key that she gave for opening the heart, that, the lock is between the third chakra and the heart. And I had all this energy coming out of my third chakra. Anyway, the key for opening the heart is forgive all betrayals. And I just went, whoa, okay. So I started working with that key, and I could feel the difference in the state of my heart between not forgiving and forgiving. And feeling into my heart as I embodied the anger, my heart was tight, it was small, and it was extremely well guarded. And I wanted to, quote, free myself by engaging in acts of condemnation and persecution. There's the mirror. And when I shifted into embodying forgiveness for these grave betrayal, my heart expanded. And my consciousness was very peaceful and very clear. And I was able to enter a meditation and connect, with full sincerity, the prayer for those who perpetrate to be free of the obsession that drives them. So relating to the history of the burning times from my heart chakra provided a distinctly different reality, one embedded with love. And part of this process that I got involved in, I was really contemplating the malevolent energies that so skillfully possess the human mind and heart, directing us to manifest life from this level of consciousness where the perpetrator and the victim thrive. Because I just kept asking, what was driving the men in those times? And I saw that reactivity is a very effective tool for tricking us into participating at this low level of energy. And at the end of my session, I was really surprised. After I'd done a lot of work and really looked at things, I realized that I do not want to die and return the liquids and the minerals of my body to Earth, imprinted with this painful history of polarization, you know? And I just set this really strong intention to return my body to earth imprinted with unity consciousness. And so I share this just as an example of what can be discovered through the portal of our reactivity. It can really serve our practice. And so I just want to end with reading a little bit from Leslie's book, Returning to Oneness. And she began her book by acknowledging that the concept of ascension has many interpretations. And one of them being, you know, the force of the second coming of Christ in the end times that will lift the holy off the earth. And she said that many people think of ascension as escaping. And then she starts to take a deeper look into what ascension means for us right now in our spiritual practice. And she says, the experience of ascension has been with us for eons. It is very real, tangible, an immediate experience available to us right now. An experience completely connected to our physical life and body. And I went, aha, this precious human form. Ascension is actually another term for the experience of awakening to the state of enlightenment or interbeing, our highest potential. And when viewed from the perspective of the anatomy of the subtle physical body, the word ascension is a literal description of the journey into unity consciousness. And this is because it describes the energetic journey up an ever-ascending path, up through the chakra levels from the root to the crown. While this is an inner, energetic, and bodily experience, it also, she says, it also depicts the complete transformation of our perceptions and experiences of the outer world around us. And that was what had happened for me. Like when I shifted from flowing all my energy out of the third chakra to the heart chakra, I had a really complete transformation of my perception and experience of the outer world. And she says, ascension through the chakra levels is about individual consciousness moving from the ordinary worldly state, which is fairly slow in vibration, to a higher and faster vibratory state while remaining solidly grounded. We venture forth from a judgmental, polarized, and limited mind, which keeps us susceptible to states of negativity at least half of the time, to the experience of being liberated from negativity and limitation into expanded universal mind, where we experience the interconnectedness of all life. As we take this journey, we become beings of heart, living in compassion, generously, with tremendous strength and wisdom. We are moving from an old dysfunctional system into a new, more inclusive system. From the third dimension into higher dimensional consciousness, from a win-lose paradigm to a win-win paradigm.